Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Great People TV with me, Ben Ibrahim. Great to have you with us. And today, very shortly, we're catching up with the Kumars, Rachel and Logesh Kumar, from the very famous YouTube and Facebook channel, the Kumaar Family. A family that teaches each other about culture, the Malay language, and life. And it's really, really good content and really putting Malaysia on the map. But before I introduce the Kumars, please, as usual, follow us and support us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn and Twitter as well. So without further ado, please let's welcome the Kumars. Like I said, everyone, we're talking to Logesh and Rachel Kumar, the Kumars with two A's, okay? And if you don't know who they are, where have you been? They are just a cultural phenomenon, doing great things with cultural content, the best of Malaysia and North America coming together like a nice mee goreng with chicken and sayo and all of the above. And what they do is they really show the world that yes, our worlds can come together and make it really, really interesting. Rachel, Logesh, how are you both? Thanks for joining us on Great People TV.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're doing great. Yeah, thanks for having us. Blessed to
No,
be
it's
here.
fantastic. No, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule. But tell us, I mean, rewind the story a bit. Tell us how you both met from two different parts of the world. One boy from Klang, one lovely lady from America. How did you both come together, fall in love, and start this digital phenomenon that's called the Kumar family?
Yeah, so how I always like to tell a story is we actually met at a church potluck in America in California. Logesh was living in California to get his MBA. He was just there for school. I'm from California. And so we started going to the same church. He came to a potluck that I was at. And I saw him from across the room. And I knew he was new there. And I was kind of in charge of greeting new people. And I went over to say hi to him. And he was in line to get food, right? He ignored me and went and got food and then came back around and said hi. And that was the day I learned you never get between a Malaysian and their food. That was the first lesson.
I mean, it's very true. Yeah, I didn't want to hold up the line. Food, people, hungry people behind me. But I walked past her, got my food, came back and said hi, introduced myself.
And we talked the rest of the night.
Yeah, we hit it off really quickly. We got a lot in common. I mean, not a lot in common, but like a lot to talk about in common.
Personalities fit very well.
Yeah, personalities fit really well. Yeah, and then one date led to another. We got closer, really started loving each other a lot, and then I proposed, and yeah, the rest they say is history.
How long ago was that?
We've been married now for 8 years, but we met almost 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Okay. And during that 8 year cycle, how did this phenomenon of the Kumar family Facebook digital revolution come about? Because, if you look at the both of you, you looked at your profiles, MBA, Rachel, you've got a communications and science background, and you work with some pretty cool companies. I mean, you both are meant for, I mean, on paper, you're meant for the corporate world, but you're kicking butt in the digital world. How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, it was really during the pandemic. 2 years prior to the pandemic, we did pick up a camera and try to vlog, and the videos were horrible. We were really terrible in front of the camera. It's so cringeworthy to watch it right now. So we never posted those videos, but I've always consumed YouTube a lot. I'm obsessed with like vlogs as a whole, watching other people's telling their stories of their lives and their point of view and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that. And I always knew that we had a very interesting perspective, right? A very interesting story. Like you said, a boy from Klang, all the way in the States now, married to an American girl. We have this beautiful little family. There's a lot of stories that's there in between that. So I wanted to tell those stories, but I was really bad in front of the camera, uh, and so yeah, we never posted a picture, but that video. But then pandemic hit. I was like, let's give this thing a shot again. Rachel thought I was just going through my usual phase.
He goes through phases where he gets really obsessed with something and then gets over it and then finds a new obsession. So when we made our first vlog, he spent hours editing it.
Yeah.
And like even was on the phone with one of his best friends, was like, "Can you watch this? Like, give me your feedback." And I was like, "Okay, like he's gonna get over it. And then we did the first one. It got a little traction, not very much. He's like, let's just skip. So we made another one, got a little traction, not very much.
Not very much. That just a few hundred views
yeah,
here and
yeah.
there.
And then he's like, and we kind of just kept going. And I'm like, okay, he's gonna get tired of this. And it just kept going and going and getting more and more traction. And then we had one video that went viral, and then kind of just snowballed from there. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, no, this isn't a phase. It seems to have really stuck.
Yeah, and then based on that, you learn a lot and you grow from that experience. So I would say like the rest is just a learning and growing based out of that first
Yeah,
few
true,
videos.
true,
But
true. Yeah. Now, Rachel, you were saying just now that one particular video went viral. Can you tell us what that content of that video was?
So it was actually a reaction video, and to be fully transparent here, I had never watched a reaction video before filming that. So Logesh was explaining to me this genre of like you watch other people's videos and you pause it and you react and give your feedback in the middle. I was like, who cares about my feedback here? But it was how Malaysia did the impossible. So this was like in the midst of the pandemic of how Malaysia was really, having like a strong SOP and was really keeping the numbers down. And so it was like a whole video about that. And yeah, we were watching it
yeah,
and giving our feedback.
it was a short video
Short.
about that. So we kind of reacted to that specific video.
Hmm.
And people loved our reaction. People loved our genuine reaction and feedback towards like how Malaysia was managing the pandemic as a whole. And yeah, so the funny thing is like we don't really enjoy doing reaction videos, so we kind of stopped doing that after several reaction videos because we
Yeah.
realized like
We like creating our own content more than reacting to
yeah,
other
more than
people's.
reacting to other people's content, so we stopped doing reaction. But yeah, that was the one that actually kicked us off.
Right, right. And it's really interesting that, you started with something and it just went, in Malaysia, we say it went gempak, went big, went huge.
Yeah,
So I mean, I know Rachel's probably thinking, what's that word again? Because I've seen
I've
your,
heard it. I've
I've
actually
seen,
that's one of the words I've learned this trip.
yeah.
you have you? Okay, we're gonna your Malay is probably better than mine, so
No,
you
no
know,
chance.
so like yeah,
No
so it's all
lah.
good. But no lah, can lah, okay, boleh lah. But in terms of the boleh lah, can lah spirit, which is the very Malaysian thing to do, just give something a shot. Maybe you guys can tell us like, okay, you did something, it went gila viral gempa, and then and you've been doing this channel for what, 2 years?
Yeah, over
Yeah,
2 years now.
yeah, 2 years
Over
in the
two
making.
years. So, what is it? I mean, I've seen your content. I quite like it because I mean, I'm quite new to the digital phase because I'm more of a TV guy and I'm still learning the transition, to be very honest. And I look at it. I said, okay, Great People TV. We didn't want to become a trashy show. We wanted to be a positive show. We wanted to interview cool personalities like Rachel and your good self. So Logesh and you're both your good self. So what is it about each episode that makes people want to come back for more? Because your content is cultural. It's
Yeah.
like East meets West, trying to learn languages and cultures. But with the thing that I always look, I mean, and like Sophie, my wife is always telling me, you see, you just don't need Malay content to hit high numbers. It doesn't have to be in Malay. It doesn't have to be in that particular language to that particular demographic. I mean, I'm sounding like a marketing guy. I apologize about that, but I'm talking to two corporates as well. So tell us about that content building sign because it's a constant WIP.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing, and that's something that we had to actually learn throughout this whole process. Obviously, you don't go to school to learn how to put out any cultural or uh, yeah, any cultural content, right? You don't learn to do that. So anyway, like for us is first and foremost, it has to come from authenticity, like what we actually live in our lives. We have to display that in those videos. We made it a point to never ever like fabricate anything in our videos. I know there's a lot of channels out there who are like, and that's their niche, right? They put out content which is entertaining. They fabricate actual humorous moments or whatever. We're not that. We want to tell stories. We want to constantly tell stories of our lives as much as possible and as best as we can. So first and foremost is like keeping it
Authentic.
authentic. I struggle with my English as well, so forgive me. Secondly, is identifying what the kinds of content that we want to create versus the ones that the audience wants.
Mhm.
This is the tightrope that we are constantly on every single video. Yeah, it's like if we constantly just tip the toe on like only doing the content that we want, then it's like it's no point, right? We'll enjoy doing those content, creating this content,
Shop
but nobody's
sendiri
gonna
lah.
watch it. Yeah, and nobody's gonna watch it. But on the flip side, we just keep doing content that every all the audience wants, but that we don't enjoy doing. Like for example, like the reaction videos. That's something people loved, but we just didn't like doing. It's going to burn us out, right? So we had to find something that keep the balance. So I think those were like the key elements for us, like understanding what our audience really wants, and then finding that middle ground. Like, okay, we like those things too, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So the
yeah.
intercultural stuff, we enjoy that,
Yeah.
and we live that our life even behind when the camera's turned off is exactly how we live our life.
And I think the big thing about just showing cultures is we never tear one culture down to build another one up. We try to really show the positives of both sides. Even when we first started the channel, kind of our mantra has been like spreading positivity and inspiring others. We want it to be very much building up. Like it's okay that our cultures are different. That doesn't mean one is right, one is wrong. It's just different, and we like to show that.
So the Kumar family Facebook, it's gone from strength to strength in a very short period of time. God bless, Alhamdulillah, as we say in Malaysia. But what do you think? Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that question. What do you want it to continue teaching the world? Because at the moment, it's about, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it's about respect, it's about growing, raising two beautiful children in a world that doesn't see the word race. Everybody's your friend, regardless of skin color. And yeah, that's the way the world should be. But it's far from that.
Right. Yeah. It's all of the above of you mentioned, right? Absolutely that. We want to spread all those things. But in addition to that too, we want to highlight to the world that we want to inspire people, right? Like to show them through our lives that hey, these little things that sometimes that we go out and do, that you can do those same things too. We want to bring happiness to people, we want to bring joy, and we want to bridge the gap between like races, cultures, continents, and also very importantly, you want to put Malaysia on the map. Malaysia doesn't get created. It's just so frustrating. When I live in America, people don't know what Malaysia is, and the only thing they know about Malaysia is the missing planes. So I want to really, you know, like when I talk to friends and all, like they know Singapore, they know Thailand, Thai food, they're synonymous with pad Thai, and chow fan, and all those things in Thai food. When it comes to Malaysia, they know nothing. Specifically, do that. I want to put Malaysia on the map and make it famous as possible.
Nice, nice. And sorry, guys, I just lost you there for 1 second, but we can edit that out. Hold on 1 sec. I'm a bit choppy here. Okay.
Sorry, and
Rachel,
yeah, it's a little
like,
choppy from our end.
how about America? Yeah, it's okay. It's Sophie hasn't called, so it's okay. So, Rachel, we're living in an America that's extremely sensitive. Black Lives Matter. We just did an episode on People TV about Asian lives, how Asian people have been constantly discriminated in America because of, I mean, stereotypes of Chinese food, like being an accountant, grocery shop, laundry shop, all of the above. And it's just, I mean, we thought America was getting better, but it's taken a spiral downward for obvious reasons. And I mean, where do you think the Kumar Facebook channel, the digital channel, can really help sort of repair or educate certain American mindsets?
Well, I wouldn't want to think that we're able to completely change the racism in
No,
America,
no, no,
but
no.
I think a big part is just exposure. And like Logesh was saying, putting Malaysia on the map of, I think people kind of see Asia as just kind of a large China sometimes, or they don't really understand how like each country has its own dynamics. They don't really understand even Malaysia when they see Logesh, like, how are you Malaysian? You're Indian. Like all those little things. And I think the more you expose people, the more you kind of show, the more you educate. I think as your world becomes bigger in a sense, like you kind of grasp things more. I think you're a lot more accepting and a lot more just kind about others because you understand more. I think a huge part of it. when it comes to racism is the ignorance. And so I think that's also part of our desire as well, is just education and out of love and respect, not out of meanness in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. And this question I'll start with you, Logesh. How about your wonderful children? Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing their names incorrectly. Zayden and Kyrene, right?
Kyron, yes,
Kyron,
Zayden.
yeah.
Kyrene, yeah. My daughter is Kyla, or our daughter is Kyla, and my son is Kyle. So, what about?
Cute.
Tell us about the world that they live in. My father is Indian from Malaysia, a country that
Mhm.
not many Americans know. My mother's a Californian, and I'm growing up in this really cool multicultural house, but I'm growing up in this cool multicultural digital world. I don't think
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
child in the world can say that. So tell us about the world that they live in, that they're growing up, that they're absorbing, not just about having a multiracial family, but a super digital family that's pretty public, and all of the
Yeah.
above. And Rachel, I'll get you to ask the same. I mean, I'll get your version
Yeah.
after your hubby
We
answers
probably
this
have the same
question.
answer.
I love it. I love that you put it that way. I never thought of it like multicultural and also multi-digital. Yeah, absolutely, all of the above,
Super.
right? Like, yeah, they've been
Mm,
exposed to everything. Multicultural, I think it's beautiful. I love how our cultures coming together, and like the identities of our family right now is no longer like an American family or a Malaysian family. It's like it's mixed. We blend the best of both worlds, and I think that's beautiful, beautiful thing. We can pick and choose the best things we like, and that's awesome. And so we want to raise our children the same way to have like the best of both worlds. That's why we intentionally bring our kids back to Malaysia so that they can actually explore and be ingrained more in the culture here. And obviously, when they live in America, they are exposed to the culture there as well. So the culture perspective, we are set. Like we are great. I think we're in a very good place. I love it. I just love anything culture, even outside of our culture. So I love to educate our children about like other languages and all that. When it comes to like the digital world, I think that's a little bit sensitive. That's a little bit we have to be very very careful. So one of the things very very early on in our sort of like YouTube careers we talk about is we don't want the kids to be the stars of the show, and we're never ever going to use the kids for content. So if you watch a lot of our videos, the videos are about us. It's never about our kids. Yes, the kids, they run in, they are part of our lives, so they're there. We can't change that fact. They're always going to be there regardless if the camera's on or off. But we never ever like make them as a prop, like, hey Zayden, go and do this because we need this great content, or hey Kyron, like stand here. We never do that. And there are moments they just don't want to be in front of the camera and be like, all right, go play with grandma,
that's
grandma.
good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, because they're very young, 2 and 4 years old, so uh,
Mm,
they obviously cannot consent to being in front of the camera yet. So we want to respect that, until they are a certain age where they be like, yes, I want to be in front of the camera. They can verbally tell us that. I think they can't really grasp that yet. So we want to be
Mhm.
really, really careful. So until now, we've decided that we want this channel to be the stories of us, primarily us and the Kumar family, and not really highlight and use our kids to create content. So it's important for us.
and Rachel, anything to add to that?
I think one thing, just I agree 100% with everything Logesh said too, is just kind of with the cultural being, me from America, Logesh from Malaysia. One thing that just started this trip actually, Zayden has now, if you ask him, are you American or Malaysian? He'll tell you, oh, I'm both. I'm American and Malaysian. And
Nice.
if you just call him a Malaysian, he'll correct you. He's like, no, I'm an American and Malaysian. And I think that's so cool. His identity is very deeply rooted in both, and it comes out in different ways. And I just love that he's not clinging to one country or the other. He's both, and it's beautiful. And he likes, Naslamat, and he likes pizza. It's okay to like have both in your life. So yeah,
Exactly. Pizza and nasi lemak. That's an interesting pizza. Hmm. Okay. But final question. It's been
we
a
had
great
that.
chat
We
with you
had
both.
that.
And again, this is not. Did you?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
we did. Sorry, I know it's a little
It's a
Yeah.
little delayed. I'm sorry.
delayed.
Yeah. It's okay. Not your fault. Don't blame the internet sphere. But look, great chat tonight, and this chat was just about to get to know your channel a lot more, going behind the channel because the content is great. I love it. I really really love it, and I really appreciate you responding and coming on the show because a lot of Insta famous people they're not so open. I'll be very very honest. So really really appreciate you at Great People TV, but maybe tease our audience because you've got such a high following 222 I think it is on Facebook, great numbers. I think 147 on Instagram, really really great numbers for something that's only been around for 2 years. But you both look very hardworking, so what's the next milestone that you guys are trying to get to and how are you going to do it in terms of the channel? Tease us a bit.
I think honestly for us, like every single next video, if we don't have like a number milestone, I don't think for us a lot of those numbers. I mean, it's great, it's amazing to have a metric to see like, oh, the channel's growing. That's nice to have. But in the end of the day, I think our goal is really to create even better and better content. So every single video, we just take one video at a time. We want to try to make it a little bit better, take a learning from this one video and make the next one better, and just inspire more people. We get messages every now and then about how that one video has changed this one person's life, how this person has overcome depression in their life because of watching our videos, or how this one person
Nice.
started this amazing business who's thriving now because of watching our video. We want more of those stories, and we want to impact more people that way. And that's all that matters to us, even regardless of the views. So that's that's what we want to go for. So unfortunately, it's not the answer that you want. I'm sure, like there isn't like
No,
this
no, no.
cool achieve, but that's
Yeah.
just our aim every single video.
Yeah, but I'll ask Rachel this just as a follow on as that question
Okay.
because you explained that quite well. Um, what is it that makes what's the what if you can name one content that people love so much? Is it Rachel trying to speak Bahasa Melayu, or is it the way you guys speak to your kids, the way you guys try to cook for your kids, the way you guys try to explain things to your kids? What is that one content that people say, I want more of this, I want more of this, I want more of this?
I feel like me messing up Bahasa is what everybody loves the most. Um, but I don't know. I feel like it's everybody has a different opinion. Everybody has a different thing that they enjoy. So I think that's kind of the beauty of what we do is we don't have to do things one exact way. We can do whatever brings us joy too.
Yeah, I think people love the authenticity of our lives, and it's real, and they get a peek into, I think what I provide to Malaysians is a peek into a life in America, like a life that they will live. Like I represent Malaysians in a way that if another Malaysians was in my shoe, they do the exact same thing. They'll make kueh, they'll share to their neighbors, they'll go find for the best nasi lemak in town. So I'm just giving them a peek into a life that they would otherwise live. So I think that's something interesting that we give to other people. So yeah.
And phenomenal. One final request just to end the show. Thank you so much on behalf of Great People TV. Can you just say a message to your fans and followers who are probably watching tonight and tell it in Bahasa Melayu or Malaysia?
Yeah.
Oh, and Bahasa, that's all you. That's all
That's all me.
you.
Come on. Come on, right? Both of you, both of you.
Hi semua. Come on, come on,
All
come on,
right.
come on, come on.
Terima kasih semua kerana menonton dan melanggan kepada I'm like, cracking up here. Kepada channel kami, tanpa sokongan daripada anda, kami tidak boleh membuat semua video ini. So terima kasih banyak-banyak. Yeah, and we love you.
Rachel?
Oh, that's
Rachel's like, nope.
What's love in Malay, Rachel?
sayang
Then
or
you're well
cinta,
on the way.
cinta or
Yeah.
yeah, cinta or sayang.
Well,
So.
you're doing. Uh, there's the doorbell for your dinner to go, so that my
Oh
timing is
no,
perfect.
it's the
It's the
clock.
clock, yeah.
It's the call. Well, we could have called it dinner, but nice timing. Look, to you both, have a fantastic trip wherever you are traveling around the world, around Malaysia. We really, really appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to be with us, and keep going with the stories. We'll support you from Great People TV, and if you ever need any support from us, other support from us, just hit us up a WhatsApp or a message. We'll happily have you back on the show, and to tell more great Kumar stories without the children, of course.
Uh,
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ben. We appreciate
thank
this.
you.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much, Logesh. You stay safe, yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Bye.
Bye.
Jumpa lagi.
Jumpa lagi, inshallah. What an inspirational interview, and so good to see that Rachel and Logesh are really trying to grow a cultural product, a family product, and above all, the Malay language product. Thank you to Rachel and Logesh for being with us, and thank you everyone for joining us for another great episode of Great People TV. And we'll catch you at the same time, same place next week, right here on Great People TV. I'm Ben Ibrahim. Take care, stay safe, and good night.